Hey, what's up, world? And welcome to the first installment, the first edition, the first ever episode of the Take One podcast. I am your host, Chris, and I'd like to thank you guys for taking time out your day to listen to me talk about whatever. This podcast is basically something that I've been wanting to do. I've been getting into podcasts lately, and I'm going to try to do different ones as well, and that are specifically geared towards certain subjects. I will give out the information later, but right now I'm just going to do this and just give you my thoughts on just things what I want to talk about, and mainly it's just going to be about entertainment. Anything that crosses my path that I feel like I want to give my take on, I'm going to do it. Those involving movies, shows, wrestling, just any type of news, movie news, show news, or just whatever. If I feel like talking about it, I'm going to talk about it. And with that said, I have a few topics that I'm going to talk about today. I'm not trying to make this too long since this being my first episode, so I'm not going to talk you guys' ears off. One of the things that I want to get started off with is the fanboy, fangirlism, I guess you can call it, and whether it's good or bad for movies. And one of the things that it's kind of like, what this is geared towards is like the Marvel versus DC thing. Now, there is a specific thing that I want to talk about, but before I get to that, I want to just talk about just the fanboyism of it, or the fangirlism of it. And just, people have this pre-notion that if you like one thing, you can only like one thing. And that's not necessarily true. So you have these DC fans who feel like everything DC, Marvel, fuck Marvel. And Marvel, vice versa, you know? And I feel like you can like more than one thing. If you're a DC fan, you can like Marvel. If you're a Marvel fan, you can like DC. You can like Image Comics. You can like anything. And it just not only go with the comic books and stuff, but it also goes with the movies. And that's kind of like it's a big thing right now, is that people just feel like you can only like one thing. You can't like what you can't. You can like whatever you want to like. If you like two things or three things at the same time, go ahead. You can like them. I mean, it's a free country. You like whatever you like. And with me, I'm the type of person, I'm a fan of DC and Marvel. I don't read comic books, so I'm not saying like, oh, I'm a straight DC guy, or I'm a straight Marvel guy, or whatever comic book thing is out, whatever comic book name is out. It's like I like them both. And not like comics, but just the movie aspect of it, or the TV shows and stuff like that. It's like they're both entertaining to me. Now, from my perspective, a lot of this is kind of like coming from a place of what Marvel is doing as far as movies. Now, for those who don't know, or y'all do know, is with the Marvel movies, certain characters are branched off to other companies, being that Marvel at one point was like, I think they filed bankruptcy or something of that nature, that they needed to auction off certain characters to get money back. And so X-Men, the X-Men universe, like everything that's X-Men, went over to Fox, as well as the Fantastic Four. Universal, I believe, got the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, and Spider-Man. Like Sony got Spider-Man, and I believe, I forgot what the other companies did, but I know Blade went to one company, and vice versa. And amongst that, I believe Daredevil at one point was with Fox or something like that, as well as the Punisher. But in any case, now Marvel as a company under the house of Disney, this big mansion, this big giant house that Disney is, it required the rights back from Punisher and Daredevil, and I believe they got the rights back from half of the rights back for the Incredible Hulk. They can't make a standalone movie without Universal's like approval, or Universal getting the cut. But just to keep, just to not talk too long on this, but it's like they got some of their characters back, and just basically Marvel has been doing good. from Fox, what they've been doing with the X-Men, as well as Deadpool this year, crushed it. And just all years long, like all the years like that has passed, like no matter if you didn't like the movie that much, the movie still did good. Whether it was Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, The Incredible Hulk, which to me that movie was, I love that movie. It wasn't incredible. Well, I could say it was a very, very good movie. I was highly entertained by it. I liked it more than most people. But, Thor and Captain America, and Avengers and all that stuff and blah, blah, blah. But Marvel is doing their thing, nonetheless. They're doing their thing. Every movie they're coming out with, even like their like movies that aren't doing good, are still doing good. So they're still making money. So it's not nothing like, oh, this movie's a flop, that movie's a flop. No, it's still making money. And DC has been struggling to catch up. It's been known, it's publicly been known that DC, I mean, they've been having good movies, but that's kind of like they've had a lot of bad movies as well. And I don't have the number. I can't say like from Marvel movies, and that's including the Fox and all the other companies that own Marvel characters, collecting them like collectively. It's I don't know the numbers to compare them, but if you look in recent years, DC and Warner Brothers have been having flops with their movies, from Green Lantern, even just with the original 90s Batman, with Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, and then you got the Superman Returns and Superman 3 and Superman Quest for Peace, and just stuff like that. They've been getting like just flops of just movies that's not good. And even their big movies with Man of Steel. I love Man of Steel. Man of Steel is one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. I wouldn't possibly say it in my top 10, maybe, I don't know, but I love the movie more than other people. But even that movie got mixed reviews. And then this year with Batman v Superman, it got mixed to negative reviews. And so DC is just struggling, trying to keep up. And so there is this thing. Grace Randolph, a YouTuber like personality, I guess. But anyway, and she's a reviewer as well as a lot of other people. She went online on Twitter and basically kind of called out Andy Signor, guy over there at Screen Junkies, excuse me, and John Campea for basically not assuming, but just saying that they're getting paid off by Marvel to bash DC movies. And this kind of goes with the boyism, the fanboyism, the girlfriend boyism or whatever. And it's like she feels that people are being biased against DC because she feels that, I guess in the sense that Batman v Superman is a masterpiece or something of that nature. I don't know exactly. I really don't keep up with what she does. She's not someone that I really kind of look toward and look for opinion on a movie or whatever, movie news. I just don't kind of like, I really don't like her style in a sense, but I'm not about to just bash her. And I'm a real big fan of John Campea, so I don't want this to be like, oh, bias against John Campea, this and that. But a lot of what he said towards the situation makes total sense. Now, in the thing of Grace Randolph made these assumptions. She gave shots out to John Campea and basically saying that he's getting paid to bash it. And it's like, okay, for one, you don't have any proof. Secondly, on top of that, not having proof, it kind of seems suspicious as you're a person who got fired publicly from Marvel and now you're pro DC. It doesn't look right. I can see if you were, still working with DC, or you just didn't work for either company, or you was still working for Marvel, or you just wasn't working for either company, and you thought this, then it still would be kind of like people will still have stuff to say, but still, it kind of looks suspicious because, like, you're calling people biased, that they're getting paid to bash on DC, whatever. But at the same time, you came from Marvel, got fired, and now you're pro DC, and you're against people who like Marvel movies. Have you ever thought that maybe Marvel makes better movies? I mean, because look at it. As much as I like Man of Steel, I can recognize that it has a lot of problems. And I'm not a fanboy of Marvel. To me, Marvel has made the better movies. Now, given DC has really kind of started with their shared universe thing, so we only got 2 movies out of the can with them, or, you know, under the belt, or however you want to put it. But neither movie that came out under this new shared universe, the DCEU, has done magnificent. Like I said, Man of Steel, very good movie. I love the movie. I can say I love the movie. But it didn't do what they wanted it to do. You know, it got mixed reviews. And Batman v Superman did, to me, in my opinion, was like worse than, you know, Man of Steel. Not saying that Man of Steel was worse, but it wasn't on the level as Man of Steel. You know, it had a lot of problems. And it's like I mean, you have the right to opinion. You have the right to, you know, say that you like this, you hate that, or whatever. It's just your opinion. Everyone has their opinion. But, you know, looking at Batman v Superman, and you can love it, but you also got to realize that movie has a lot of problems. Lots of problems. And not just with the writing, just with everything. There's a lot of good in the movie. It has a lot of strong potential, but overall, the movie was just not what it should have been. And for a person to be a fanboy or fangirl, there's nothing wrong with that. But as long as you know that a company that makes a movie that you like, realize that if it has problems, it has problems. Don't overlook it. Don't say, oh, this movie is so good and it's terrible. Don't fool yourself. If the movie is bad, admit it's bad. But if you still like it, say you still like it. And Grace Randolph, she sticks by her word, which is cool. But yet at the same time, understand that the movie has a lot of problems. Whether you like it or hate it, it has a lot of problems. A lot. And just the things that she did with posting the pictures up of John Campea, that type of stuff you just don't do. When you it's one thing to put pictures up of someone that you're aiming your gun at. But if you put up a picture of them and their family, particularly in this case his wife, that's a no-no. You don't do that. You really don't. And with her being, I guess you can say, a professional, air quotes, you don't do that. You don't pull people into stuff and just, you know, assume that this is happening. Or, you know, accuse them that they're being paid. Accuse them of things that you have no proof of. That you think that there is this conspiracy against DC films. Could it be that DC just hasn't had a hit yet? Now, yeah, we had the Dark Knight trilogy, but we're basically mainly kind of focusing on the universe now, starting with Man of Steel, next Batman v Superman, and then after that, Suicide Squad, and going on. And it's like, so far, if you put the 2 starter movies with Iron Man and Incredible Hulk against Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, I can say that Marvel had the better beginning than what the DCEU is doing, than what DC is doing. And it's blatant. And you have to be blind not to know that. You have to be just unwilling to see that, to not know that, because it's right there in your face. And given the facts, you know, DC just started, we have yet to see what they have. Because the rest of the movies from here on could be masterpieces. We don't know that. But from now, we're just judging the movies that they got out now. And they really don't have a great start. They really don't. And it's just, just something I wanted to get off my chest. You can be a fanboy or a fangirl, just as long as you know that you can like more than one thing, as well as if there is a movie that falls under whatever company you love, Marvel or DC. If it has problems, admit it. Just say it. The movie has problems, but I still love it. You can geek over it, whatever, but admit that it has problems. You can love it. And and the world would be a better place. There wouldn't be no conflict or nothing of that nature. And if people disagree with you, say, okay, I understand why you disagree. This is why I like it. And just go on about your merry day. Sunshine, rainbows, and roses. Okay, and that was just my little thing. It wasn't really a rant, I guess you can say. I don't know. But speaking of that, the next thing I want to get on is the Warner Brothers thing. What came out this past weekend was with the whole thing with Batman v Superman. Now, just to give example to what I was saying, how Batman v Superman, I liked it. Didn't love it. I liked it. It had a lot of potential. Strong potential to be a great movie. But it didn't hit where it was supposed to hit. And the DC execs knew it. Warner Brothers execs knew it. They knew that this movie should have been a $1 billion movie, and it just wasn't. And so with that, there have been a lot of problems behind the scenes with Zack Snyder and Warner Brothers and their, I guess, their creative differences and, where they want the path of the DCEU to go. And it's kind of like, messed up because Warner Brothers, from what I read and what I gathered, they wanted to get rid of Zack Snyder, but couldn't, because if they would have got rid of him at the time that they would have got rid of him before Batman v Superman came out, it would have hurt the box office, because people would have knew that something is going on, that they're getting rid of this director who did this movie, and they had him on this Justice League Part 1, but yet they kicked him off. So it must be something going on. So it will mess up the box office. And now it's coming out that, they had to keep him on because of that, because it would have messed it up. But in all actuality, the movie, it probably still would have made the money. It wasn't a $1 billion movie. It just wasn't. This movie was just, you can blame it on the critics. Like, the actors come out and blame it on the critics, say the critics is blah, blah, blah. Don't listen to the critics, listen to the audience. But the audience is saying really the same thing. A lot of the audience members liked the movie, but overall, the audience wasn't really in favor to it either, And with that, it's like, it's just these constant, basically fights, as well as it kind of rippled all the way into the director. I forget his name. I'm bad with this, so just kind of come on, just follow me, just whatever. But the director for the upcoming Flash movie, which I think is supposed to come out in 2018, has dropped from the project because of creative differences. And now James Wan, which I believe it may be confirmed or still rumored, but he's having a kind of he's having his doubts about helming the vehicle of Aquaman because of everything that's going on behind the scenes, and it just kind of spells out trouble for Warner Brothers, especially in the beginning of their cinematic universe, to have these problems. Not only have your movies not reached $1 billion yet, these two movies, but for both of them to have mixed reviews, and one of them to be bashed by critics and just fans alike. It's not good to hear that, one director dropped off of Wonder Woman, but then you got another director. And now you're dissatisfied with Zack Snyder, who this will be his third movie come Justice League that he's directing, that you don't want him on it. And then you got the director that was going to do the Flash drop out, and now James Wan may or may not continue on with Aquaman, and it kind of sucks because you're beginning this. They were hopeful that this is going to be good. This movie, that we're going to crush it, and it's like they're just having so many problems, and it's, I don't know. It's just they need at least 2 movies to get people back on board with DC. Because I've had a big problem with the marketing for Batman v Superman, as well as everybody else. Because they go up and they go down. It's basically a roller coaster ride. And it's like they kind of need something to bounce back off of Batman v Superman, because just that has basically turned people off of the DCEU. There's probably people that's like, yo, that movie wasn't as good, so I don't know if I'm gonna go see Suicide Squad, even though the director who's doing Suicide Squad is a much better director, the writer and all that stuff. Still, it's like, is it gonna be a good movie, or is it just gonna be okay? And it kind of sucks. Like, they really need Suicide Squad to hit. They need Wonder Woman to hit. Especially, they need Justice League to hit. Because if none of those movies make $1 billion, which I don't think Suicide Squad nor Wonder Woman is going to hit $1 billion. But if Justice League doesn't hit $1 billion, I guess you can call it somewhat of a failure. Not a failure, but a failure in the sense of, this is like DC's Avengers movie, their Justice League, and like Avengers, one of the top 5 highest grossing movies of all time. I think it's still in the top 5. I had to go check it out, but anyway, it was one of the top grossing movies of all time. If Justice League doesn't even hit $1 billion, I don't know where they're gonna go. I don't know where they're gonna go with it, and it spells doom. Maybe in a Fantastic Four style or Fan Force Stick style, it spells doom for the DC universe. But it's whatever. I just hope, because like I don't hope for their failure, but I do hope that they get back on track, because I'm a fan of both companies. I loved Man of Steel, and I liked Batman v Superman. I want to love Wonder Woman. I want to love Suicide Squad. I want to love the next movies, because if I'm going to the movies and I'm paying my hard-earned money to see these movies, I want them to be great. I want to have a great theater experience. I want to have, great things to say about it. I want to turn people on to these movies and say, oh my God, Suicide Squad, that is like the best comic book movie of all time. I ain't gonna say that, but just, you get what I'm saying. I just hope that these movies are good. I don't pray for their downfall. I'm not one of these fanboys that just like Marvel or DC. I just hope that these is good, because if they are, I'm going to get out of it money well spent, as well as a good theater going experience. And that's what I like. That's what I love. And so that ends that. I'm going to quickly go on to the next thing, which is talking about Captain America Civil War. And I'm not going to talk too much on it, but I've been liking everything that's been happening with Captain America Civil War, from the marketing, everything. Certain things people didn't like, but I liked it. I enjoyed it because they did basically what Batman v Superman tried to do. But in their marketing, they focused on the teams. They focused on Iron Man versus, Captain America, and the teams, and like their struggle and why they're fighting. And they focused on that. And that was like the best thing that they could have done, because the movie is about Batman v Superman. Well, not Batman v Superman, but the movie is about Iron Man versus Captain America. The movie is about Iron Man versus Captain America. And so that's what you need to focus on. It has 2 villains in there, but yet you barely see him. You don't see I think his name is Baron Zemo. You don't see him at all in the trailers. You see Crossbones, but you only see him, out of all the trailers and TV spots, you probably only see him like 3 times in 3 different type scenes. Other than that, you barely see him. The focus is Iron Man and Captain America and their teams and their struggle and what the movie is about. And I feel like that marketing is the best marketing for a movie like this, a hero versus hero movie. And it has me really excited, especially with the reviews of people giving it A pluses and just giving it high scores. And it got me really pumped to go see this movie. And it looks like it's going to be good. I mean, I've talked with like several people, as well as my brother, who does movie reviews himself, written ones. And we both agree that Batman v Superman was going to make the money, but it was going to be bad critically. But, you know, Marvel, Captain America Civil War was probably going to have a better storyline, but not hit the numbers that Batman v Superman. Which I kind of want to tweak, because I believe that Captain America Civil War, it looks like it might be close to $1 billion movie. I'm not saying it's going to be $1 billion movie, but it looks like it's going to not only be, the reviews is out. It's already a great movie. So it already has that. But the numbers, it already looks like it's going to hit Batman v Superman numbers or higher. And if it does, I'm happy for him. You know? And it's not because I love Marvel movies over DC. And that's just for right now, because Marvel had more of a head start than DC. But it's just, I've been enjoying Marvel movies. I have been. And if this movie is a great movie, I hope to give a great review on it. I hope that it blows my mind. I hope that I'm just like blown away by it, which I know I will, just by what everyone else is saying. Hopefully, you know. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna go see it on Thursday, and I'm hoping that, you know, I'm gonna have a great theater experience, which I know I will. But yeah, I mean, seeing Black Panther, Spider-Man, I just want to see all these characters together. I mean, we've seen a lot of these characters together within the Iron Man movies. No, not the Iron Man movies, the Avengers movies. But some of them we haven't seen in it, like Spider-Man. We haven't seen him with the Avengers. We haven't seen him in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU movie. And this will be his first time being in there. And from what I hear, he fucking kills it. Him, Black Panther, they both kill it. And I can't wait to see this. And on that note, that ends this first episode of the Take One podcast. And I'd like to thank you guys for listening, for checking this out, taking time out your day to listen. Whether you agree or disagree, I'd like to thank you guys for listening. And there will be another episode of the Take One podcast up again. I don't know when, but subscribe to my YouTube channel, and as soon as I upload it, you will get the notification. Turn on your notifications for it. Like this video, or like this podcast, and comment. Let me know if you disagree with what I said, or if you agree with what I said. I mean, just do whatever. Share it if you like it. Let other people hear it. And I would thank you guys for that. And like I said, that just wraps this first episode. Hope you guys like this, and I will catch you guys later. Until next time.